Hello everyone, in this video we will talk about creating the MCP server using C# SDK. So MCP is a standard protocol for communication between large language models and their clients. I am not going to go into detail of the MCP server protocol, so we will directly see a demo about how we can create the MCP server in a .NET console application. So let's go to the command prompt where we navigate to the folder where we want to create the .NET application. So I'll run the command .NET new -n, then give the console application name. Let's say demo MCP .NET new. Since we are creating a console application, I write .NET new console -n for the name of the project. So it has created successfully. So it created the demo MCP project. So let's navigate to that folder, demo MCP, and then I will open this project in the VS Code. So we will create the MCP server using the IDE Visual Studio Code. Here, as you can see, this project is created. So now in the program.cs file, let's rewrite the code to host our MCP server. I'll quickly grab the code for the program.cs file, paste it here in the program.cs file. So as you can see here, we are using these namespaces: dependency injection, hosting, logging, and the main one is model context protocol.server. So first we create the application builder, and then we'll add the MCP server to the DI dependency injection container using add MCP server. And for demonstration purposes, we'll configure the server to use standard input-output for communication. Now when we use with tools from assembly, it will scan the current assembly for classes with the MCP server tool type attribute. We are going to see that how it works, and register their methods with the MCP server tool attribute. And then we'll build and run the host, which will start the MCP server and listen for incoming request. Now I'm going to create a class called ecotool.cs. Here we will write the code to create the MCP server. So this is the class called ecotool, which is providing the definition for the MCP server, model context protocol server. It has the definition for two tools. One is for classifying the waste. When the user provides an item, it will classify the waste type. For example, if banana peel is provided, it will classify that banana peel as of type organic waste. Similarly, for newspaper, it will be paper recycling. There is another tool which we define using MCP server tool. The important thing here is the description. So the description tells the client which tool to invoke based on this description. Here it suggests a greener alternative to a common product. So when the user provides an item, it will provide a green alternative. If it is a plastic bag, it answers using to say that it has to use a reusable cloth bag. So I'll save this file, which has the definition for MCP server and the MCP tools. Now in order to expose this MCP server, we have to create a .vs code folder. In this folder, create a file called mcp.json, and then click on add server, then select here command stdio, then run .NET run project. Here we provide the project name by copying the path of the .cs project file, Control V, and then press enter. Give the MCP server some name, something like eco tool MCP server. Trust the folder and continue. As you can see here in the mcp.json file, it describes our MCP server. Here let's start the MCP server. It states that there is some error, so let's see what is the error. Configuration. When it's time to run the server, in the error, starting. Let's see the output. Once the MCP server is created successfully, we will see here that there are two tools. Here, as you can see, it's running. Close here. Let's use GitHub Copilot to interact with this MCP server. Now in the GitHub Copilot, let's ensure that the agent mode is selected, and here if you see there is some error, let's see the build, fix the build errors and run again. So let's do one thing. Okay, I think we have forgotten to add two NuGet packages which are required. So let's add the NuGet packages. .NET add model context protocol required command. .NET add CSS. Let me clear the screen, and then .NET add package model context protocol then we need another package. Let's clear the screen and .NET add package Microsoft dot extensions dot hosting These are required to host the MCP server and to provide support for the model context protocol. Once this is done, let's go back and then build the project. Right click the csproj file and then click on build. Go to the mcp.json file and then restart. So it's initializing, waiting for server to respond. Now if we go to the tools here, notice that there is a MCP server called demo MCP, and it provides two tools, classify waste and green alternative. Now let's use GitHub Copilot to invoke the MCP server. So as you can see here, the MCP server is running and it provides two tools which are provided as part of the definition of this MCP server. So now based on this description, we'll classify newspaper into a waste category. So as you notice here, this GitHub Copilot is trying to access our tool classify waste, which is part of the MCP server eco tool MCP server, and it's providing it as an input called newspaper. As you can see, it provides a complete definition here. Now it's asking us the permission so that it can access that MCP server and the respective tool. So we'll allow in this session. So it will run this tool, and based on the output from this tool, it says newspaper is classified as paper recycling. Similarly, you can play around with this tool. Let's try this one, suggest a greener alternative. Suggest a greener alternative to, let's say, plastic straw. So as you can notice here, again it's trying to use this tool called green alternative, which is part of the eco tool MCP server. It provides an input plastic straw and then fetches information about green alternatives to plastic straws. When I say allow in this session, so the response from this tool is use a steel or bamboo straw. The response is generated and displayed in the GitHub Copilot window. So let us just review what we have done. First, we have created a new project, .NET console project, and then in this project we have added support for model context protocol, .NET add package, model context protocol, and then we have added support for Microsoft.extensions.hosting to host our MCP server. And then in the project, we have opened the project in VS Code. Here we have created the mcp.json file to define our MCP server. We have also we have created ecotool.cs file wherein we have provided the definition for our MCP server and the MCP tools. So these are the static functions which are part of our MCP server. And then in the program.cs file, we have added support for the stdio server, and we have hosted our MCP server. In the mcp.json file, after we ran the command to add the server, it provides the definition for the MCP server here. Its type is stdio. It uses standard input-output communication, and when running the project, it provides the argument as the CS project file path. Then in the GitHub Copilot, we ensure that we are using the agent mode, and we can see that there is a definition for demo MCP server which has two tools, classify waste and green alternative. In the upcoming sessions, we will see more into model context protocol. Thank you.